morning. My name is Matusalen Diet. I am a high school counselor. I've been working in CNG for 8 years, and I'm really happy to introduce you to Patricio Uribe today. He's a clinical psychologist. He's got 20 years of experience working with young people, adults, and families. He's a health educator as well. He's author of La Dieta de Matusalen, La Nueva Medicina Emocional, and he's co-author of Detox Urbano with his wife, Matusalen Diet. He has been a graduate education teacher for 8 years. Currently, he works in his private practice integrating clinical psychology and alternative medicine to help people improve their physical strength, their mental health, and their character. And he has a son who's Martin, 24 years old. So he's actually, he's got a lot of experience with this topic of transitioning from pseudo-adult to actual adults, which some of us, we are adults still, but we're all transitioning in some way, you know? So I leave you with Patricio. I'm really happy to have him here. I read one of his books probably 15 years ago, and it has been an incredible influence for me. And I've met a lot of patients that have worked with Patricio, and he's a really incredible professional and human being. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So good morning, thank you for coming. I want to let you know that this is my very first conference in English, so please bear with me, and I hope to do it the best I can. And I have here Juliana, who is going to drop me a few words in case I need them. So my intention is to share with all of you my experience more than to do an English exposition, so I hope I can communicate this experience, wonderful experience working with families, with young people, with educators, with counselors and teachers, helping young adults in the transition from pseudo-adults to adults. So thank you, Juliana, Marcela, Felipe, Andres, and Janice for this invitation. And it's been a wonderful experience because we have been doing it in a real teamwork that has been really a good contribution for me as well. In this context, first I would say that nobody can come to teach you or to teach us to be parents, because we parent our children from our experience, from our being, from our intuition, from our core, and nobody can come to teach us experience. But hopefully my intention is to be able to share with you some experience that comes from this body of knowledge that comes from working with these many children and parents that we have been in consultation with. So I will be talking about these challenges in the transition from young to functional adults. Probably most of us have these children in between the ages of 14 and 25. And so we set this period of time as a very important period, because it's like a gestation period or process for the adult life. By the age of 25, we should be mature in many senses, physically, hormonally, and mentally, and we should be capable of facing the main challenges of adult life. Why do we put this period in between 14 and 25? Because 25, I put it as the top of the hill, because we hit our maximum maturation here. Many of you may have your children with you a little more towards 30s, because in our culture is so used that our children do not leave home until after 25, as they do in other cultures, but we will talk about this top of the hill point of 25, because hopefully by that time our children could reach a good point of maturation to be able to face successfully their adult lives. So we talk about talking about the context of this very important process. I say that we have a lot of opportunity, danger, and crisis. Why do we have so much opportunity? We have opportunity because everything is potential. The life project hasn't been materialized, and if you ask a young adult about what do they want to become in life, everything for them is possible. Everything is potential. We as parents are so expectant about all what they can achieve in life. So it's a really fertile soil where we have all possibilities set. Sí. ¿Me lo pasas a la siguiente, por favor? Solamente con la flecha de seguir. Acá. No, devuélvelo simplemente y aquí míralo. Okay, y una más. So we talk about also crisis. Why do we talk about crisis during this period? We have crisis because we are facing a real change of scheme. In this maturation process, we are changing our old way of being in front of life, and we are facing a whole new way of relating to authority, sexuality, relationships, friendship, intimacy, and everything is brand new for us. We are stepping as children into unknown. And there's a lot of crisis, and there should be crisis. There's crisis on them, as well as there's crisis on us as parents. Because hopefully, or many times, we as parents are always trying new things and stepping into the unknown, because we don't know how to be parents as well most of the time. So this crisis period also comes with confusion, with some insecurities, with some conflicts with authority, conflicts with parents, conflicts with teachers, conflicts in the school, and all of that many times lead parents to consult a psychologist or to consult a friend about some issues that may arise during this process. There's danger as well because they are facing so many things that are within some danger limits. They are trying different substances. All of us know that in our culture now we have so many substances, intoxicants, that we don't even know about. They are trying. You could be amazed if we take even a young adult later on of 35, how many different intoxicants they have tried in party. So there's a lot of danger because also they are not always taking care of their food. They are drinking alcohol, getting a lot of sweets, and they're really out of balance many times. So this danger, of course, you know that ask us to be very cautious about this process, because many times there are many processes going on them that are hid from us, that we don't know. One of the things that I, as a psychologist, can realize is that sometimes they go so far in some processes, and they are so good on manipulating truth that they go on some processes that we don't even know about. So that's why we talk about some danger. And we just said about the opportunity. And let's go to understand a little more in depth about this period and what is the main issue that I found during this period of time. So, if we go into do a profile, I think that every single home is a limited edition of life. We have so much singularities in our homes. But just for the utility of reflecting about this important subject, what I have done is to make like a profile, like a stereotype about so many cases that come from the consultation. What could it be a profile that we could see about what's going on in that period of time? In this profile, we talk about pseudo-adults as adults in progress and functional adults. Let's put this as the both ends of the scenario. So the first thing and the first danger I'm going to talk about all the time is that the thing is that when they reach their majority of age, they get their ID, they can drive a car probably, they think of themselves as adults. But the reality shows that they are not adults. They are adults in progress. Even all of us who are united here, we are adults in progress. But they are brand new adults and they think of themselves as adults because they have a brand new freedom. In their minds, they have like a misunderstanding about what it is to be an adult. They think that to be an adult is to be free of closing the door of the room, to be free of trying new substances, to be free of getting out, exploring sexuality, exploring partying, exploring all the social media in internet, going out, hitting the roof with so many experiences. And for them, that's to be an adult. How many of you, please raise your hand and help me, how many of you have had the experience of your children thinking that they know more than you about something? No? Or about life. They have an attitude like, oh, Dad, it's like, you do not understand. You don't get it, So that's the attitude of somebody who is very naive about being an adult, because what do we get when we go further on the run? We get humility about what it is to be an adult. That's the point. So I make these different levels of characteristics about this stereotype of what it means to be an adult, to be in this process, and we will go through each one of them. We have the ego, and on the ego, the pseudo-adult, he thinks he is the center of the world. This is not like a bad thing, really. They think they are the center of the world because a child, in his maturation of the brain, he has not the capacity of understanding the outside. So it's not like a thing that they do to bothering us. It's a maturation thing. But in this point, they are maturing, but they still think they are in a movie where they are the main character. And we all, around them, we are secondary characters. We are there in their movies around them. And in the ego, when they are pseudo-adults, they still do not acknowledge and respect enough the work and the parents, because they do not exactly know what it means to be a parent, what it means to be an adult, what it takes. So they do not acknowledge us enough. So, secondly, we have the self-care characteristic. The pseudo-adult, they do not know how to take good care of themselves. They are an hedonistic version of themselves. They're in life to try substances, food, joy, pleasure, enjoyment of the senses, and for them, that's life. And that's an hedonistic version of life. When we go on, let me tell about this last thing, that this self-care level is so important that we have another whole conference about this single thing, which you are invited to attend to, which is our next conference here, where we talk about more specifically about our interaction through life with substances, with food, with intoxicants, with all of what we do in life, with exercise, to take care of our physical, mental, and vitality, our energy in life, our gasoline. So this conference will be our next one, where we go more into the details about the social addictions and all of that, and you are welcome to be with us. In the third characteristic, we have the give and receive level. The pseudo-adult is a receiver. When it's Christmas, he is so patient about how many gifts do I have? How much are you going to give me? So they are, of course, in their egoistical way of being, they think as happiness as receiving something through life. That's happiness. The happiness, everything goes towards them. So, and they are not yet developed enough their generosity. So, again, I want to point out that this is a maturation, a physical and organic issue. It's not only mental issue. So, during this process, we have also the limits. The pseudo-adult, as you see your small child, newborn child, they move even freely and they do not about limits. And we go around them putting limits to them. They go so spontaneously and so freely through life, and they hit some limits that life puts to them. Don't cross, don't pass, don't put the hand on the electric current. And they even think that that limit is something against their freedom, because they want to be able to have their own free will. And finally, we have the productivity and responsibility. The pseudo-adult is not economically or professionally productive. Even the school, the educational process is very important about this issue, helping them developing a sense of responsibility, because I always say to parents that what our children do in school is a parallel of what we are going to do professionally in life in the future. Our job during the maturation process is to study and to have some performance at school. So that's our job. But reality shows that they get paid just for being alive. We pay them just for being alive, for have fun, even though they have some responsibilities. And that's the reality of them. But this point is so important at this conference, and it is central because the responsibility is one of the main characteristics of our functional adult life. So what else I would say about this? That during this process, we as parents train them every time. With each single thing that we do, they are seeing us all the time. In breakfast, how we go to the shower, how we pay something, how we do not pay something. They are witness of us. even we are conscious or not, they are witness about everything. And we sometimes joke in between friends that they charge us any mistake because they are so good witness of us. So we are training, a full-time job training them. So let's see what's the main problem here that I could see, that when parents come to the consultation, there's so many things to talk about, but I always want to go to fundamentals, to things that we could synthesize. And I say in this way sometimes that we should be able to have like a credit card size card inside our wallet, where we could put 3 things to keep in mind, just to go to fundamentals. So this is the exercise that I'm going to do next, to synthesize all of these in 3 fundamental things that we could focus on, which we call the tools of the great work that you are already doing. So what to accomplish here when we work reflecting and improving all our parenting abilities? The first thing I start always doing, my starting point, is acknowledging your work as parents. Sometime, somewhere, has to acknowledge us for what we do as parents. Make sure that our children are not still ready to give us all the recognition. Later on in life, we as children learn the importance of recognize our parents. I try every day, my 87 age dad and 80 mother, giving them all the recognition every day. I try myself. But when they are so young, they are not the ones who are there to give us recognition. But that's my starting point on therapy. Because this is not about confrontation. This is about a human process of recognizing that is sometimes not easy, and that at the same time, in general, what I honestly find is that most parents are doing a really great job with a lot of challenges. So the starting point is to give them recognition. Within that scenario of recognition, we go into some different points that we could improve. So, going back to my proposal, giving you 3 key points. First, I would say that parents are models. We just mentioned this. We are models of them all the time, but what are we modeling, really? When I was working with this point, the first thing that I want to say is that we, as parents, we are not modeling perfection. We are not like a finished product of something perfect in front of them. We are modeling humanity, and we are modeling functionality, which is very different. In fact, I say that for our children, to be able for them to polish their ego is so important for us to show our backstage. How many of us come home and say to our children, I'm so worried about the financial situation. I'm so worried about the country. Or I'm sad today. How many of us really show them the backstage of our lives? Because they need model from us the ability or the permission of being humans. Because culture sometimes do not allow us to be fully human. And we need this permeate characteristic of life, that being able to breathe, to accomplish what we need to accomplish as adults, but our inner emotional and most intimate part of ourselves to breathe out. So we are modeling, going a little more specific. If you remember these 5 characteristics or levels that I mentioned, ego, self-care, give and receive, limits and responsibility, we are always modeling the way we do with those 5 characteristics. We go all the time back and forth in between being egoistical or generous, in between going out of limits and recovering limits, or sometimes taking care of ourselves, or sometimes not taking so much of ourselves. And what is the point here? The point here is that they need to see us as a sensitive needle going back and forth these different poles about these characteristics, but we are modeling our ability to recover, regain the center. You know, it's like a car that goes in the road, in the countryside, and can get a little out of balance in a curve, but we have, as drivers, the ability to recover control, to recover centeredness. Because another thing that I mentioned to parents is that there is a very flexible boundary about this thing of being an adult, because we as adults in this process, we are growing, we are maturing, but still we are adolescents in many times. We sometimes may try different substances, sometimes we may be not so responsible about some things. Okay, I don't ask parents to be perfect, as I said, but in that context, the key thing is that we have we have to demonstrate our children that we are functional and in the capacity of being in control in the middle of this flexibility and changes and humanness that has the adult life. Secondly, we said block parents. We as parents have many different kinds of families. We have diversity, we have a limited edition in each family, specific situations, and sometimes ideally we as parents are together for the whole life, and sometimes not so ideally we have divorces. And when there are divorced couples, I say to parents one very important thing. When there are divorced, families do not end. Families get transformed. Because if you are a divorced couple and you have a children, the couple and the children is a transformed family for the rest of life. So, in any case, united or not united or any kind of diversity of families, the parents have to act as a block. Why do we have to act as a block? Because authority in life has to be one. Because authority is about some principles that are not mainly opinions, but are a little more like wisdom and knowledge about life. And we should be able to be in agreement, both parents, because if we are not honoring the other authority as parents, and if we are not in agreement, we create a crack. And that crack will cause a loss of strength in our children's personality, because our real strength in adult life has a lot to do with honoring authority. It's not like my strength as adult is in my ego and my ability to put myself on top of authority is all the way around. If I allow myself to honor authority, if we as parents act as a block parents, we're doing the best job we can. And the third thing that we work on is on the cause and effect parenting. If I will choose only one thing to put in that credit card size card inside your wallet to remember about this conference, I would say we have probably a lot to learn about cause and effect parenting. I would say that's the main issue here. Because we have a very interesting characteristic. Interesting characteristic is that at home we create like a bubble for our children where we do not apply cause and consequence parenting. Let me give you an example. I will give you an example about a trip I had with some friends about the positive way of this. We were in a restaurant with some friends. It happened to be Spanish friends, which I have quite a few, that I like them very much. And this couple had a 10-year-old boy, and we were in some restaurant asking for something to drink. And this 10-year-old boy said, I want a ginger gaseosa, a ginger drink. And his mother says, no, Javier, it's so hot, it's not good for you, and please don't take it. And he said, I want it. And the father says, I have tried it, and it's so hot. It's pretty strong. And he said, I want it. So father and mother said, okay, please. And they asked to bring it. Guess what? He started drinking it, and of course he said, wow, this is so hot. And they said, yes, we told you. You are going to drink it, but nothing is going to happen. Sometimes we drink strong things. And they asked the children to drink it all. So this is, I was very impressed inside. Because sometimes we as parents, we have a very strange idea that if we do this to our children, we are saying we are being so harsh on them. And that's all the way around. So the thing is that we all the time, as adults, when we pay to a policeman for una multa, so many times in life we try to avoid consequences. But when we teach our children that the main thing is to avoid consequences, we are doing the wrong path. So this thing means that we at home we create like a bubble where there's no consequences. Let me give you the last example. We have some friends that invite us to an appointment on the weekend, and we agree with them that we will leave at 6 on Saturday because we as adults know that to cross Bogota after 7 in Saturday is crazy. So we say to our friends, okay, let's go on appointment and we will leave at 6. We tell our children we will go to an appointment and we will have to leave early in the morning. But guess what? Life has other plans. It's Saturday and I have a very important party for me. I have the right of enjoyment. And there's this discussion that all of us know about. We, so flexible, so loving, okay, go to your party, come early, because we do not set specific limits, or sometimes we may say, come at midnight, and guess what? I was trying to come at midnight, but I couldn't. It wasn't possible. It wasn't my thing. So they come at 1, they go to bed, we go nagging, cantaleta to them, and they go to bed, and next morning we wake them up at 5, and then they turn around and go back to bed. So and we start what we already know so well. Nagging, cantaleta, etc. So what happens is that we ended up living at 7 in a very bad mood, the whole family, okay? And the thing is that the ones who put the living time, the departure time are there. The authority is in the wrong place, okay? So, and what's the thing real here? The thing is that in this bubble that we create in our homes, life doesn't occur that way. When we leave the door of our house, life is ruled by the 100% cause and effect model. If we do not pay the cellular phone, you know what? If we do not pay the debt of our house, you know what? If we do not don't do a good work in the company, you know what? That's life. It's kind of sharp. And that's not even cultural. That's the cause and effect is even a spiritual law. Everything has an effect that has exactly to do with the cause. So the thing is that we need, as parents, to really get into the cause and effect model within the 14 and 25 year. If we start at 25, it's so late when they go out to life, because we need to train them to be a cause-effect oriented people. That's the thing. And we need to leave behind the idea that we are so harsh on them, because how many of you, let me ask you 3 questions, let's say 3. How many of you sometimes feel like your children are a little tyrannical to you? Or how many of you could ask your children to make a shake or a juice for you on Friday night? Son, I'm so tired. Could you please go to the kitchen and bring me, let's say, olives, and they will look to you and say, what? What are you talking about? I'm the son. Yes? Life is going to ask them that many times, and they are thinking they are the kings. No, we are in service in life. Life is successful when we serve, and we need to teach our children to serve at home. That's the thing. And by the way, we as parents, I can honor and acknowledge how much you have learned this lesson and how much we practice that every day. So, how to do this? How do we do this in the work we do? The tools for treatment. We do this first by evaluation of parents, parenting strengths and weaknesses. So, besides honoring and giving all the recognition of your job, we have to go into our work about getting a little serious on the details that we have to improve, the strengths and the weaknesses in parenting, so that doesn't happen with children but with parents. Second, we have to do an evaluation of children alert levels. So this is so important because we have to understand where our children are, really. What's going on with them. Let me share with you a few ideas about the kind of patients and cases and issues that come from to our consultation to know what's going on really. A classical, a little later when you spend so much money because that to study in Bogota doesn't work. That's nothing. I have to go overseas. Because it's overseas, I'm going to be so successful, so I'm going overseas. Buenos Aires is so in fashion, China, and Spain, there are so many good places, the States, but they go there thinking they are the adults with an allowance, and you making so much effort to take them. And I have quite a few of them coming back really losing control over many substances, losing control of their life project, many of them having psychiatric breakdowns, many of them having problems with the police, because they think they are in control, but many other things take control of them. So I would say before spending your money and time and energy, give it a little a second thought on this kind of project with them. I'm getting off some work for myself, but it's worth it, isn't it? Because this is a classical. Second, many children who are kind of toxic with parents at home, that are not in a center in their hearts, that are not loving. And sometimes parents ask, why my children is not loving at home if I'm so loving with them? We are so loving. We have been giving them so much love, and why they are not loving with us? Because the love gets ruled by the yin and yang principle. If we get so soft, they get so tyrannical. The love has to have the soft part and has to have the hard part. Love has both wings. And we as parents, we cannot just practice the soft love. We have to be good at practice consistent, limit, and hard love too. Because they have to be graduate as everything in life in the center. You know, they have to learn to not to be in a we cannot be so hard on them, but we cannot be so soft on them. We have to be in the middle. And in these other levels, we have so many abuse of substances, food. Sometimes they go hitting the roof with sex experiences, with a relationship, but in general, sometimes they lose control of their lives, and you so busy making a living and supporting them, sometimes do not get so aware about what is going on until it gets a little far. So what I do in this case is to determine whether they are in a red alert, in a yellow alert, or in a green line. So we have many different ways to find this out. By the way, we have another conference about this one that is directed to them, but of course that conference doesn't have this backstage part of the conference, which is about strategies for parents, but in the version for them, like it's a workshop version, we are working on the tools that they may have to have a successful transition from young adults to functional adults, which they are very interested in accomplishing. So in that workshop we will focus on more on the tools, and we of course won't go into this backstage part of the conference. I think what happens is that gets like a sleep. Devuélvelo ahí. Entonces, ¿sí? Ahí otra. Ahí, perfecto. Gracias. Third, designing and implementing behavioral change and intervention strategies. Our work in therapy is 10% about talking about the situation and 90% about doing something. We have to do something different if we want different product, different results. So the thing is that we need design and implement behavioral change and intervention strategies. What to do, what can we as parents change in the way we train them and in the way we do an inventory. It gets very concrete. We do an inventory about everything that they in concrete receive from you. Money, cellular phone, food, clothing, trips, permission, parties, education, thank you. Everything you do, you give in concrete. And by moving and administrating wisely these elements that you give to them physically, this goes very practical. We could do everything. But nagging, cantaleteando, we do nothing. We cannot cantaletear más. We have to start what I say, applying contingencias or applying cause and effect parenting. So that's about the strategies. And finally, we work on the following up because in the time we have to keep in mind how they are responding, how they are showing that we are in the perfect point, graduating what we want as a response. And we, of course, are sensitive all the time monitoring what they are, how they are responding to our strategy. So that's the whole model. So saying this, I will open and I will of course say that feel free to leave if you have some commitments, and some of you that want to ask something in English or in Spanish, please feel free to ask anything, and we will open this space for questions and answers.
Cuéntame una cosa, porque viven bravos todo el tiempo, bien cansados. Llegan a la casa cansados, they come home really tired, and at the same time, they're really, están muy bravos, están afectados. Me preocupa porque lo ves en todo, con todos los colegios de todas las comunidades.
Excellent.
14 hasta los...
Excellent question, thank you. Why they do come home in a bad mood, so tired? Excellent question, and it's so common. Because in their bodies, it's so usual to have an intoxicated body, an undernourished body, because they eat way out a lot of sweets and a lot of junk food, and vitality doesn't get filled by junk food, by enjoyment and by taste, and because they are so intoxicated about way much more things than they need. We think that they are so happy because they have 5,000 songs on their phones. They are intoxicated, and we still don't get it.
But intoxicated of so much electronics.
Of life, of everything. Stimulus, experiences, bad food, excesses, money, everything. That's the thing, because they are intoxicated. So
But that's the life they're living.
that's the living.
So you cannot send them to Machu Picchu, you cannot send them to an appointment.
No, but you could.
That's the world they have nowadays.
Yes, good question, good point. But you could first to understand that that's going on them, and that there's something that we could do. you could, for example, you could accomplish whatever you want if both parents agree and you apply limits and consequences. You could say, for instance, there's a time to get off in this house computers, or there's a time you could get you are going out for a dinner, but there's so much money today and you can have only one dish. There are many little details, many little things that we could do to detoxify them. There's a lot of room to work, because it's like podando un árbol. We are gardeners of their garden, and we have to learn to weed their lives. But if we give them less things and we ask them to do more things for us and for life, we are doing much better, and that will go improving.
¿Cómo habría manejado la situación de las 6 de la mañana?
Good question.
Cantaleta.
Good question.
¿Qué hace uno?
Thank you. Thank you. Good question. How would it work, that situation of an appointment leaving at 6? I had prepared my answer for that, but why I didn't say that? Because sometimes could think that I could be a little harsh, because of course every single home is a limited edition and it's a different circumstance. That's the first thing I would say. But let's say that there are many things. One, to apply consequences. Yes, I understand. I understand that. And I will go into one thing. But let's say, okay, do not leave it because there's nobody at home and you will go worry. Okay, I understand that. But it depends on the age and the circumstances. But you could say, okay, you lose a point with me. So I have to, of course, have something in exchange. They have to lose something. That's the point. My question would be, what are they going to lose because they didn't no cumplieron with something that was an agreement? So you could make them lose something different than. Let me give you an example about sometimes this gets so hard that there's a children of, let's say, 22 really driven into drugs. This is really bad, really toxic. The situation is really out of control. I had a 16-year-old boy who was in sectas satánicas, cuchillos, heavy metal. And what's the strategy? The strategy was divorced parents. And what we do, the mom came and said, I'm in topping roof. I'm really bad. This is going too bad. So I said, do you want to overcome the situation? Just tell me yes or no. Do you want your money to be worth it? Or you want to pay with me to talk? She said, no, I want to resolve the situation. So let me tell you how it works. Follow my instructions. First, family structure. Mother and another child of 30, and this child of 16, divorced parents. Father, about 50, with a girlfriend in our apartment. A 20-year-old, which could be, I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about myself, maybe because I'm a man, but 26. So, here was the situation. So I told her, okay, first step, you are going to, he was saying to his mom, What's the term? Yo soy un anarquista.
Dilo en español.
Sí, mamá, yo soy un anarquista de la vida. A mí no me importan las reglas de la vida. ¿Sí? Entonces yo le dije, ok, tú le vas a decir lo siguiente, le vas a decir, hijo, yo te amo anarquista, no cambies. No cambies, tú eres anarquista y yo te quiero así. Pero ocurre una cosa, que es que a mí en mi casa no me gusta tener gente anarquista. Y quiero explicarte que es que esta es mi casa. Entonces, y le digo, mira, tú te vas a ir de la casa, vas a hacer tu vida, vas a seguir con las sectas satánicas, vas a seguir con cuchillos. Esto, perdón, es una intervención en crisis, ¿no? No quiero que ustedes tomen que todo, yo voy a actuar como Petro, no. No, esto es una intervención en crisis, en crisis. Y además, cada contexto es muy distinto. No con todos los contextos se puede hacer lo mismo. Entonces le digo, te vas de la casa, yo te voy a dar el uniforme del colegio, el celular es mío porque es que ocurre que yo lo pago, ¿sí? Y tú te vas con la maleta, te voy a regalar la maleta, que voy a ser generosa, y te vas a donde tu papá. Haz lo que quieras. El punto más débil de todo esto es el apego que principalmente tiene la madre y secundariamente el padre, el apego que tenemos por nuestros hijos, que es una debilidad gigantesca. ¿Sí? Ese es el punto que ellos tienen calibradísimo. Ella ya le había dado premio de llevarlo a Disney para que no trajera cuchillos, le había dado premio de llevarlo a no sé dónde, a conciertos de heavy metal para que no dijera malas palabras, cada vez peor. Premios, 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 premios. Entonces el chino medía como 1,85, parecía de verdad como de 30 años, pero tenía 16, era un grandulón. El caso es que, bueno, llegó el día, el chino dio unos portazos, eso mejor dicho, encendió esa casa y salió. Entonces le dije, perfecto, no va a pasar nada, el papá vivía a 3 cuadras, se van del papá, el escenario en la otra casa era ideal, un apartamento desocupado, con una mesita de comedor, perfecto el escenario. ¿Sí? Allá llegó. Y aquí lo que hicimos fue, primera estrategia, él tiene que entender que perdió algo. Entonces lo van a invitar el día domingo. ¿Qué es lo que más le gusta? El sushi. Tú le vas a preparar con amor el sushi, porque esto no se puede hacer, esto se hace con contingencia, pero no con agresividad. Esto es con contingencia y con amor. Lo vas a invitar a comer sushi el domingo, y lo vas a recibir, y entonces tú vas a sacar todas las cosas del cuarto y las vas a meter en una bodega, vas a pintar el cuarto de color rosado, vas a poner tu computador, una caminadora y cositas femeninas, y él va a venir y va a entender que perdió su cuarto. Entonces así lo hicimos. El hermano mayor le dije, tú eres parte importante de esto, y tú, ¿qué es lo que más le gusta tomar? La Coca-Cola. Perfecto, tú le vas a dar Coca-Cola en bandeja y en la sala. Entonces el chino llegó y el hermano le traía la Coca-Cola en la bandeja y le decía, ¿te provoca algo más? Y el chino estaba, lo estaban tratando como invitado, se asomó a su cuarto y dijo, ¿y mi cuarto? Y la mamá le dijo, no hijo, es que tú ya no vives con nosotros, ese es mi cuarto de hacer ejercicio, es mi cuarto de computador. Ella había metido todos los 200 CDs de heavy metal que ella le había comprado, una guitarra eléctrica que había roto en una rabieta y otra guitarra eléctrica nueva en una bodega, ¿sí? En la bodega de la amiga, y no le había cabido todo, y la otra vecina le había prestado, y entre todas habían pintado el cuarto. El caso es que el chino ese día entendió y se fue como cabizbajo y dijo, miércoles, esto fue en serio. Y la mamá hervía por dentro, pero yo le decía, tranquila, tú estás actuando la estrategia, tranquila. Ok, entonces del otro lado la cosa hizo crisis en la luna de miel que había del otro lado, que fue perfecto, porque la niña de 20 y pico entró en crisis con este pelado tan grande, no lo quería ni ver. Y entonces, como somos todos los seres humanos, me incluyo, entonces el papá del otro lado diciendo, entonces yo ya no pago más en Colsanitas. Entonces ella me llamaba y yo le decía, ¿tú quieres que la cosa se resuelva? Sí. Ok, que deshagan el Colsanitas. Esto no es jugando. Ok, ok, yo le voy a decir a él que entonces sin Colsanitas, que a mí no me manipulan con nada, que la mesada, entonces ya no importa, coge toda la plata, lo que quieras, pero él ya Yo ya no cuento más con él, yo ya lo solté, anarquista, lo que sea. Esta estrategia duró un mes. Y esto cada día se hacía crisis. Mamá, te llamamos porque te citamos en un restaurante y esto es muy serio. Mi papá y yo decidimos que yo voy a volver a la casa. ¿Sí? Entonces ella les decía, no, mira, es que yo estoy tan contenta viviendo sola, pues con el cuarto, la verdad me encanta el cuarto, necesitaba más espacio. No, mamá, y es que es en serio, vuelvo el viernes. No, mira, hijo, nos seguimos encontrando en restaurantes, etc. Al mes ese chino estaba en una angustia de perder a su mamá, de perder los privilegios, de perder todo, ¿no? Entonces ocurrió que había una Semana Santa, daba una Semana Santa, y la mamá me llamaba y me decía, ya, yo le decía, démosle 3 días más. Entonces llegó la Semana Santa y la mamá, una abogada de una valentía y de un mérito, y el papá también un trabajador incansable, y la mamá llega y me dice, pero entonces, yo le dije, ahora él va a volver, pero tú pones las reglas del juego. Ahora, lo que se le da tiene que venir en gotas por lo que él dé a la vida, no entonces a chorros por dar nada. Entonces ella dijo, entonces yo quiero pedir que él vaya a un retiro de jesuitas que había en la Semana Santa en el colegio. Yo le dije, perfecto, esas son tus creencias, perfecto. Se fue al retiro de jesuitas, jugó fútbol todo el retiro, se integró, pasó increíble en el retiro. El chino estaba feliz en el retiro. Llegó a la casa y la mamá le dijo, mira, las reglas del juego son, no hay grafitis en las paredes, a mí no me gusta que pongas cosas en las paredes, esta es mi casa, el día que tú tengas tu casa, haz lo que tú quieras, es que esta es mi casa. Los CDs te los voy a ir devolviendo, el que más te guste, a cambio de buenas notas, minutos al celular por buenas notas, si quieres plata para ir con tu novia a cine, eso te cuesta una semana de buen reporte en el colegio. A los 3 meses, premio del mejor cadete en un colegio militar, monitor de inglés. Esto es cuestión de entrenamiento. Entonces, a veces, cuando hay una intervención en crisis, los papás tienen que decirle al hijo, hijo, tú eres adulto, sal por la puerta, haz tu vida, haz lo que quieras, pero aquí hay unos límites, y si quieres volver a entrar por la puerta, las reglas del juego son estas. Esos son casos extremos a los que uno no quiere llegar, pero les digo, no en todos los casos es adecuado hacerlo de esa manera, por eso uno tiene que estar muy sensible, pero en el peor de los casos lo que termina ocurriendo es que pasan 2 días donde el mejor amigo y la mamá ya empieza a decir que un día del otro, y ya al día siguiente empiezan a negociar y a decir, bueno, ¿qué tengo que hacer? Entonces, eso es obviamente que la mayoría de los casos vienen a cosas muy cotidianas, pero reales, en donde nosotros tenemos que cambiar la estrategia y empezar a tratarlos a ellos de una manera contingente, en donde haya una educación orientada a la causa y al efecto.
¿Qué tal les funciona a ellos el practico del criterio? Es decir, está desarrollado en ese momento, porque uno como papá uno dice, te digo estas cosas y con tu criterio, por favor, actúa de acuerdo a tu criterio. No sé si uno está cayendo en el error de que en ese momento todavía no hay suficiente criterio, o uno está, digamos, abordando o dándoles una herramienta que de pronto todavía no tienen como bien desarrollada.
Gracias, muy buena pregunta. Lo primero que se me ocurre es un chiste que no sé si ustedes han visto, que lo vi en internet en alguna parte, en donde hay un pelado tirándose de paracaídas y llamando a la mamá y diciéndole, sí mamá, yo te dije que te llamaba, estoy súper bien, sino cayendo en el paracaídas. Es decir, yo les diría, lo primero que le diría a los padres es que confíen en su intuición y en su criterio, y que le vayan soltando el criterio a ellos en la medida en que ellos muestren que realmente son responsables. Es decir, yo te diría, para responderlo es, hay que operacionalizar las cosas, porque una cosa es que ellos estén estudiando afuera y te digan, no mamá o papá, todo va súper bien, todo está bajo control. Otra cosa es que ustedes digan, yo sí pago la carrera por fuera, pero a mí me mandan reportes quincenales de cómo va. Es decir, criterio es feedback, ¿sí? Entonces, ¿por qué? Porque cuando nosotros, yo creo que a veces pecamos de darles la varita del criterio adulto y que ellos creen que saben cuando todavía les falta, digamos, mucha experiencia. Eso no es mi opinión personal, eso es lo que yo les puedo decir de la experiencia con tantos padres. ¿Sí? Viene más de ustedes que de mí lo que yo les estoy contando. Entonces, yo diría que en términos generales, se me ocurre un último ejemplo, y es que también existe otra cosa, otro fenómeno muy interesante. Si ustedes van a Nueva York, pues la sociedad en Nueva York se ha desarrollado y ha cambiado muchísimo y muchas cosas son bienvenidas. En Los Ángeles, pues la marihuana es el nuevo cigarrillo, el mundo está cambiando, ¿sí? Pero dentro de todo eso, en donde en esa marea hay ciertas cosas que están bien que cambien, yo le digo a los padres, hay ciertas cosas fundamentales que no pueden pasar de moda. Y ellos, un poco lo que pasa con los millennials, que yo creo que con los millennials hay mucho por aprenderles. Nosotros a veces tenemos una vida demasiado pesada de cosas, pero yo creo que el otro factor que debemos tener en cuenta en el fenómeno millennial es que los jóvenes tienden a cambiar la sociedad para no cambiarse ellos mismos. ¿Sí? Es decir, ¿por qué la música electrónica del DJ? Porque en nuestra época Queen eran los hippies del paseo, y qué calidad de música la que hacían. ¿Cuánta disciplina tenían que tener para escribir Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen, que uno la oye y dice, no, pues es una obra maestra? Pero ahora hay mucho facilismo y el DJ está solo haciendo así y ya con eso tiene una cantidad de música y lo único que está haciendo es mezclando. Entonces, lo que quiero decir es, hay una cosa muy importante para trabajar con los padres, y es saber en dónde y cómo plantarse en ciertas cosas que son unos principios que no son negociables. Yo no estoy hablando de que los papás sean perfectos y siempre voy a volver a eso, ni que sean ñoños, no, yo no estoy hablando de eso, estoy hablando de que en la vida hay unos... Entonces, un ejemplo último, y es, recuerdo un muchacho de la Universidad de los Andes, inteligentísimo, porque la mayoría son increíblemente inteligentes y pues son personas extraordinarias, con las que es un placer trabajar. Y este pelado inteligentísimo, con las mejores notas en la universidad, tenía toda una disquisición en la que me decía, es que yo vengo a explicarte que mis papás no entienden que el mundo moderno es distinto y que el tema de las drogas es otra cosa, ellos se quedaron atrás. Y ellos tienen un discurso, porque ¿dónde está el límite? ¿Cuántos papás no pueden estar en marihuana y ser funcionales de su vida y ser realmente responsables? ¿Dónde? En esto estamos en un límite en donde, por eso yo siempre me planto y digo, lo clave es la funcionalidad. Pero sí hay un tema importantísimo acá, que es que ellos van cambiando la línea y la cultura va redefiniendo todo para no hacer un trabajo interno. Y entonces, a veces, ellos traen una confusión. Yo llegué al extremo en el que una niña, que ella sí se fue de la casa, no que yo sugiriera algo, pero esta niña hizo un prom en su casa, invitó 120 personas a su casa, y a las 8:45, 9 de la noche, ella estaba borrada en un sofá de su propia casa. O sea, este era el escenario. Cuando la mamá empezó a poner ciertos límites, ella dijo, me voy de la casa, estoy asfixiada de esta casa. ¿Sí? Estoy absolutamente asfixiada. Se fue a donde la mamá de una amiga, separada, y ocurría que la mamá de la amiga era alcohólica. Entonces el tema era que la mamá de la amiga decía, es que tu mamá no entiende pues que tú eres joven, que tú te estás disfrutando la vida, tu mamá no entiende, ven y yo. Y hubo una competencia entre las dos mamás en donde la otra mamá, más perdida que la primera, pues estaba compitiendo con la primera mamá. Entonces, creo que hay un punto muy importante en la terapia en donde yo invito a los papás a pararse firme en ciertas cosas y en no confundirse en sus principios y en donde hay que plantar y saber que la sociedad, la cultura trae unas presiones que quiere corrernos la butaca y que nosotros como padres tenemos que decirles, perfecto, si tú quieres vivir por esas reglas y pagas tu celular, pagas tu arriendo, el teléfono, tus cosas, quiero ver. Y ahí sí ya hablamos de otra cosa, porque ser hippies y ser de izquierda cuando tenemos un sueldo estratosférico de nuestros papás es facilísimo. Entonces, cuando ellos ya uno los pone en su rol de responsabilidad, ahí ya empiezan a madurar. Bueno, entonces...
Hablan de niños un poco menores, hablan de un niño, en nuestro caso, de 14. Hoy en día tienen tantos gadgets, es decir, el mío es increíble en la computación, se construyó un computador solo, por ejemplo. Pero nosotros somos de otra generación, mucho mayor que tú incluso. Entonces no entendemos todo este mundo del teléfono, de los estos, si no te voy a nombrar todas las cosas que hay porque ni siquiera las sé yo. ¿Cuál es tu opinión acerca de eso, del uso que hacen los niños, quizás no los de 20 y tantos, sino los que están recién empezando high school, de todos estos aparatos, sistemas, comunicaciones satelitales, porque ya no sé lo que hacen? ¿Cuál es tu punto de vista de eso?
Gracias, buena pregunta. Yo diferenciaría entre dos cosas, que de pronto tu hijo va a ser un ingeniero, o sea, qué maravilla que sepa todo eso, seguramente que tiene un don importantísimo allí, pero yo les diría que el tema, que lo que uno como papá tiene el derecho de hacer es supervisar la información que circula a través de todo eso, porque por ejemplo puedo pensar en otra paciente que estaba en un tema un poco suicida, que no siempre lo es tanto, pero a veces lo es, y resulta que esta niña en las redes sociales hay todo un tema en el que el self-cutting, que se cortan, y todo esto se vuelven modas, y esta niña me decía, es que mi mejor amiga también está en una crisis. Y yo le decía, ¿de qué colegio es tu mejor amiga? Y me decía, no, ella no vive acá. ¿Y dónde la conociste? No, yo la conozco, es mi mejor amiga, pero la conozco por internet. Y la mejor amiga era como una líder en redes sociales del despecho y de las ideas suicidas. Entonces, se nos olvida que porque ellos están en la comodidad de su alcoba, pues no pueden estar en un peligro más grande que estar en San Victorino a las 4 de la mañana. ¿Sí? Es decir, en las redes sociales hay mucho peligro de muchas cosas que se vuelven culturas en las redes sociales y que ellos van entrando, pero que hay una falsa sensación de seguridad en todo eso. Entonces yo te diría que por un lado ellos traen una cantidad de cosas que uno tiene que entender que son distintas, que seguramente tu hijo tiene toda esa potencialidad maravillosa, pero que ustedes como papás tienen todo el derecho a decirle, maravilloso toda la parte tecnológica, pero ustedes también llamar a un técnico y decir, hasta que no te valgas por ti mismo, nosotros tenemos que ver qué información fluye ahí. Hay privacidad de ningún tipo, y que ustedes se planten en donde digan de qué estamos hablando. Porque
mira, en mi caso es un poco personal. Yo tengo una hija de 21, overachiever, perfeccionista, a tal punto que no puede reconocer sus errores, no los puede aceptar, y llega a tal punto que hasta cree que no se equivoca. Y entonces yo ya no sé cómo manejar esa situación, porque obviamente sufre y además está en una posición hasta altanera, podría decirse, ¿no? Y no sé realmente qué estrategias podrías darme como para manejar como para que acepte que sí, que se puede equivocar, que está bien, que es sano, que es humano, ¿no?
Gracias. Buena pregunta. Pues hay otro tema que yo veo que es un poco más clínico acá, más interno, y es que yo he visto que uno podría decir que existen dos tipos de personas. O sea, el vínculo con nuestra madre determina cosas demasiado importantes a lo largo de la vida. O sea, el vínculo con la mamá, de ahí se desprende nuestra relación de pareja, nuestra relación en general con la vida, muchísimas cosas. y ese vínculo tiene una cantidad de características. La psicología clínica en realidad también lo que tiene es como una lupa para ver lo que Freud decía, la patología de lo cotidiano e invisible. Es decir, hay cosas que pasan desapercibidas, pero que pueden ser muy significativas. Lo que ocurre es que en el vínculo más temprano con la madre hay distintas características de ese vínculo, pero yo diría que hay dos que hay que aprender a diferenciar. Si ustedes ven, hay dos tipos de personas que podríamos decir en la vida. Hay personas que se plantan muy fuerte en su ego y en sus errores y que de pronto dicen, uy no, mi ortografía es un asco, yo tengo una ortografía pésima, o yo soy malísimo para tal cosa, que no les importa ventilar sus errores, su parte negativa. Y hay otras personalidades que buscan ser más políticamente correctas, de pronto mentir para no mostrar los errores, de pronto encubrir las malas cualidades. Yo diría que si ponemos esos dos tipos de personalidades, hay que entender que cuando nosotros, por distintas circunstancias, vimos amenazado el amor o la seguridad en el vínculo madre-hijo en una época muy temprana, nosotros no podemos aceptar nuestro ego y plantarnos muy firme en él. Es un tema interesante que habría que trabajar así. Entonces, ese vínculo hay que entenderlo en ellos, porque de ahí vienen ciertas inseguridades y ciertas cosas que están relacionadas, y en general cuando somos sobreexigentes con nosotros mismos, hay hijos que tienen tan seguro el amor de la madre, y aquí no estoy hablando de que uno quiera o no quiera a sus hijos, la mayoría de las veces estamos hablando de cosas que son circunstanciales. Voy a poner un ejemplo. Me llegó una que se relaciona en parte. Me llegó una niña de 16 años y el tema era: no quiere salir del cuarto, no quiere volver a vivir, no quiere ir al colegio, no quiere nada, solo está en su cuarto y no quiere la vida. Entonces, analizando, la verdad, una familia bastante normal, me pareció que había amor, que había funcionalidad, la niña era bonita, era buena estudiante, la querían en el colegio, en general las cosas iban. Yo no encontraba nada en realidad, me tendría que inventar algo. Cuando uno tiene un síntoma, pues, que salta a la luz, como es que les cuento, ir a ver la parte temprana del vínculo con la madre. Entonces, cuando hablé con la mamá, me contó que cuando nació esa niña, hubo una emergencia en la clínica y tuvieron que separar a la mamá y a la niña el día del parto y llevarse a la mamá para un hospital y a la niña para otro durante 20 días. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Que hablamos de la circunstancia. Esta niña vivió un abandono de su madre cuando estaba naciendo. Para una niña, al nacer, que la separen de su mamá, es como la muerte. Es demasiado duro. Entonces, esta niña apenas llegó a la vida, sintió un abandono de muerte. Entonces, esto es una vivencia demasiado poderosa, pero nosotros los seres humanos reprimimos eso para poder vivir. Y somos muy buenos para reprimir. Esta niña pudo reprimir ese miedo profundo a la muerte y al abandono hasta los 16 años, cuando se enamoró por primera vez. Cuando ella se enamoró, algo afloraba en ella que sentía que si se abría a la vida, se iba a morir. ¿Sí me entienden? Como la relación entre las dos cosas. Y es una cosa interna y es profunda. Entonces, esa niña estaba en un conflicto porque se había enamorado de un compañerito, estaba con su corazón que se abría, pero ella decía: si yo fluyo con la vida, me voy a morir. Y eso es, nosotros tenemos un carrusel de experiencias interno, y lo que hubo que hacer con esa niña es ayudarle a entender y a pasar por ese abandono varias veces y a decirle: mira, tú lo que tienes es pánico, el pánico de esa niña chiquita a ser abandonada, a morirte. Siente el miedo, no te vas a morir, pero tienes que sentirlo varias veces y dejarlo pasar, porque tú no puedes manipular la vida para que nada fluya, para no morirte. Entonces, eso no va a pasar, eso ya pasó, y entonces es probable que uno tenga con ella que revisar ciertas cosas que muchas veces son circunstanciales. Claro, exactamente. Pero entonces, es un trabajo, a veces se puede hacer con la mamá en terapia y muchas veces con ella misma, internamente, porque ella es la que tiene que entender de dónde viene ese perfeccionismo y de dónde viene ese miedo. Entonces, y muchas veces es un tema circunstancial, como les digo, de cómo ocurrieron las cosas. ¿Alguna otra?
Usted es muy bueno, señor.
Gracias.
Una última pregunta. Una última pregunta, que ya se nos está acabando el tiempo, y después Patricio puede inclusive conversar con alguien si quieren preguntas puntuales acá personales, pero pueden hacer una última pregunta.
Hola, me sorprende mucho la gran importancia que le estás dando al vínculo con la madre, y me pregunto, ¿dónde queda el padre?
Gracias. A veces el lenguaje es un poco artificial por cómo se dan las circunstancias. El padre es muy importante, porque en eso entramos muy a profundidad en la próxima conferencia, cuando explicamos, y en esta quizá lo he podido mencionar más, que cuando nosotros hablamos del autocuidado, nosotros debemos poder incorporar un chip interno en nuestro cerebro que viene de nuestro papá y otro de nuestra mamá. Ambos tienen que ser complementarios. Cada uno de ellos tiene su masculino y su femenino. No quiere decir que todo lo masculino viene del padre, pero cada uno de ellos aporta un masculino y un femenino que va aquí adentro y que es fundamental, que es el yin y el yang, para tener éxito en la vida. Pero el padre, en términos más genéricos, tiene muchísimo que ver con la parte guerrera de nosotros frente a ciertas situaciones, más con la lija gruesa de las cosas que con la lija fina. Y pues es importantísimo que nosotros incorporemos. Te diría también que no existe salud mental en la vida adulta si nosotros no estamos completamente en paz con nuestro padre y nuestra madre físicos, y si nosotros no, lo que yo llamo, no hemos digerido a nuestro papá y a nuestra mamá, que es entenderlos como seres humanos, honrar sus cualidades. Si nosotros no honramos las cualidades de ambos padres, nunca vamos a tener éxito en la vida. Pero son ambos. Lo que ocurre es que sí tengo que darles ese reconocimiento a las madres, y es que nuestro vínculo con la madre, al venir de ese cuerpo y al ser amamantados por ella, y ese vínculo tan profundo para bien y para mal, es trascendental en todo esto. Pero hay una cosa interesante, para las mujeres también, es decir, no ocurre como uno pensaría, que es cruzado, que hombres, para nuestra relación de pareja nos afecta nuestra relación con la madre, pero madres, para su relación de pareja les afecta su relación con el padre. Lo principal es madres con su madre y hombres con su madre, porque es nuestro vínculo básico por excelencia. Entonces yo diría que ambos somos importantísimos, pero habría que darle la importancia a la madre trascendental que tiene todo el proceso. Bueno, gracias a ustedes.